everybody, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Corin, also known as the Kitten Choreographer, and I'm a teen with a passion for animal rescue and, in particular, kitten rescue. So today's video is not about cats. I know I've posted a couple videos not about cats recently, but this was just what I felt like filming in the moment. And one thing I've learned from doing YouTube for almost a year now, I can't believe it, is that if a video doesn't sound fun to me, it's not gonna be fun when filming it and editing it. And you guys, that is me flailing around running into things. If it's not fun for me, you guys are gonna tell it's not fun and you guys aren't gonna think it's fun. So yeah, that's that. So I was planning on filming the second part to my most recent video, which is the necessary supplies for bottle baby kittens, and the second part of that is going to be necessary supplies for weaned kittens and moms with babies. However, I didn't feel like filming it and getting all the stuff together to show you guys, so today's video is about makeup. And if you guys don't know, makeup is something that makes me really happy. It is, even though I'm gender fluid, I still love playing with makeup a good portion of the time. Also, I was vegan for about a year. I'm now vegetarian for personal reasons, but I do still buy all cosmetics and products that are not ingested into my body vegan if possible. So about, half to 3/4 of my eyeshadow palette collection is vegan, just because there was a time back before I was vegan or vegetarian that I bought non-vegan, and just noticing my camera battery is about to die, so I'm gonna replace that and then I'm gonna be right back. Okay, so sorry about that, but I can do a part 2 to this video if you guys enjoy it on my eyeshadow palettes that are not vegan that I've had for a long time back before I was vegan, or there was a time I was vegan when I didn't even realize that makeup was something that could be not vegan. I was like, why would they put animal products into stuff you're putting on your face? But they do. And one of the main products that they put into makeup that is not vegan is carmine. And that is something made from crushed bugs, and it is used to make like red and purple pigments. And I personally, even if you are not vegan or vegetarian and you eat meat, which I don't hate on you for that, it's like, it's fine, do whatever you want. Why would you want to put bugs on your eyeballs? That's just weird to me. But anyways, all of this is vegan makeup, and then I have two that are like in the maybe category. That one, I'm sure it's vegan, but it's not considered vegan on the website, so I'm putting it in the maybe. And the other, I honestly don't know if it's vegan or not, because there's been formulation changes, and if you're aware of makeup, you may be able to guess which one that is. Smee, that is an eyeshadow palette. That is not a toy, and why are you underneath my tripod? This is Smee, my baby. He's my foster fail, and he's really, really cute. But anyways, I know I'm getting a few, or I'm asking for a few other eyeshadow palettes for Christmas, and those of course are vegan. I know of one that I'm asking for, and that is the Meant to Be from Colourpop. I'll insert a picture right here. I'm asking for that one is vegan too. And I guess I'm making this video just to show you palettes that I like. I like all the ones that I have, especially all the vegan ones. I can think of a couple that I don't like that I have that I'm just waiting to be able to give to a friend when COVID's over. Let's get started. Oh, and sorry my intros are so long. I'm a rambler. Sorry for the background noise, as always. I have kitties that are loud. So the first palette I have to show you is the Child palette from Colourpop. This is from like a collaboration between The Mandalorian and Colourpop. I use this in one of my recent like chit chat get ready with me's where I was just talking about my life. You can see the color scheme here. I don't know, should I do swatches? I'm probably not gonna swatch everything, but you can see it's just a very pretty color scheme. Colourpop is one of my favorite. He just ran into the camera. Colourpop is one of my favorite brands. It says cutest in the galaxy here. Their eyeshadow formula is so good, and while they do have carmine and they are not vegan for a lot of their products, they do make it very easy on their website. If you scroll down, there is a little cruelty-free symbol where it says that all their products are cruelty-free. It is there for all their products because all of them are cruelty-free. And then next to that, there will be a little symbol saying that it is vegan if it is vegan. So it's very easy to tell if a product is vegan or not, and it's awesome because I don't have to do any extra research. It's there right on the website, which a lot of brands do not make it that easy, so I really just give kudos to brands that do. Peter, these guys, they're just determined. They're so quiet most of the time, and then whenever I film, it's like they're absolutely as loud as they can be. Also, I forgot to mention, but all cruelty-free and vegan are not the same thing. Cruelty-free means there's no animal testing, and vegan means there's no animal products in it. So a brand can be cruelty-free and not vegan, or they can have a vegan products but not be cruelty-free. And I only buy cruelty-free and vegan, so all these products are cruelty-free and vegan in this specific video. So this brand is cruelty-free. And I will try and mention whether the brand is all vegan or just the specific product that I'm showing you is vegan. So this brand is not all vegan, but this specific product is vegan, and like I said, they make it very easy on the website to tell you if it is vegan or not. And I really like the formula of Colourpop's eyeshadows. So next up we have another Colourpop palette. This is another recent addition to my collection. This is called In a Trance. It is from their tie-dye collection, and it is a pastel blue and purple palette. It's really, really pretty. I really like it. I've used it a few times in every shade except for this sparkly fuchsia shade called Crown Chakra. That was the only disappointment shade in the palette. I don't really like that. It does have two sequin shades. This one up here called Daydream Baby, and this one down here called Transcend Dance. Those are sequin shades. I'm pointing that out because it matters to a lot of people. And this shade here called All Or. Again, this is a pressed glitter. And I know a lot of people don't like pressed glitters because they're not very environmentally friendly, because they do have, you know, glitters made of microplastics. And I personally would rather have a palette not have pressed glitters in it, and with Colourpop I'd rather them have their Super Shock shadow formula. But I do really like this palette called In a Trance, and it is vegan. There are 2 out of the 3 palettes that came in this tie-dye collection are vegan. This one and the green one are vegan. The orange one is not. I just did not buy the green one too because I don't wear green as much as I wear blue and purple, so I thought I wouldn't include it. You can see I have blue and purple on my eyes again today. I know I have a bunch more Colourpop palettes, but all of those are not vegan that I got before I went vegan and before I realized that eyeshadow was not vegan all the time. So let's go ahead and move on to a different brand. So the next brand I'm going to talk about is Juvia's Place. Most of their palettes are vegan. There are a couple that are not, and on their website it states, I think it's their Warrior palette, and there's maybe 1 or 2 more that are not vegan. So I'm saying vegan a lot in this video, I'm sorry. Also, I meant to put this disclaimer at the beginning of the video. If any of these palettes actually are not vegan, I'm very sorry. From my research, I think they all are, but again, I'm wrong sometimes. I'm just human, and so I'm very, very sorry if any of these are not vegan, but I'm pretty sure they are. So the first eyeshadow palette I have from Juvia's Place is the Warrior 3. This is amazing. I love Juvia's Place formula, and again, like Colourpop, it is pretty affordable, and this is what it looks like on the inside. Their mattes are really blendable, and especially this shimmer shade formula, it is absolutely stunning. You can see it there. It is stunning. It is so pretty. I love it so much, and yeah, I'm trying to go through it quickly because we do have a lot of palettes to talk about. And then these 2 I got in a set together when they were half off, so I got these 2 for the price of 1. This is the Masquerade by Juvia's Place. If you open it up, I do say this is not my favorite one that I have. Some of the shades are similar, especially when it gets to the neutrals. They just kind of look similar, but I do really like the blues and the greens up at the top, and I like it, but it's not my favorite palette in my collection. And honestly, I would have been fine with just the Magic Mini, which I'm going to talk about in just a second. But since there was a sale to basically get this bundle with the 2 of them for the price of 1 eyeshadow palette, I was like, I'm going to get it because that's a great deal. So this is the Magic Mini by Juvia's Place. This is one of my favorite eyeshadow palettes. It's so pretty, and while I do wish the deep blues down here were a little bit deeper than they are, they're really not that deep. My favorite shades are probably Faso and Zuba, which are these purple and this pink. Let me swatch these for you. The purple especially is this one right here is so pretty. It's so sorry, I'm so bad at swatching. It's so sparkly, it's so reflective, it has a really cool shift to it. So out of the 3 that I have, I definitely prefer these 2. It just depends on which color story you want more and whether you want more colors or the bigger pans, just depending on which one you go for those, but I really like all 3 of those Juvia's Place palettes. So the next brand I'm going to be talking about isn't all vegan and cruelty-free brand, but I personally do not purchase from this brand anymore, and that is Jeffree Star Cosmetics. I do really like their eyeshadow formula, and I do really like the palettes that I have, and I enjoy them and I use them, but this is not a brand that I purchase for anymore just because I do not stand with the morals of the owner, Jeffree Star. He's just not a nice person, and I do not want to support him and give my money to his brand, and I'm only showing these because I am showing my full collection, and I want to show you which palettes I have and talk about them in case you are interested in purchasing them. And I also forgot to put another disclaimer that I meant to put. I know I have a lot of eyeshadow. It is what I collect, same as if you collected something else, you know? This is what I collect, it is what I like. I do use it, I do enjoy it, but I'm never going to be able to finish it all up. Because of COVID, I can't really declutter my collection and keep it down to a limited amount like I would if I could give it to friends, but I am planning on when COVID lifts up to take the palettes that I don't really use as much and give it to some of my friends that would use it more. But I am very privileged, and I understand that I'm privileged to have so much eyeshadow, but please don't be mean to me about it on the amount that I have. I just have it, and I'm very grateful to have the amount that I have, but please don't be mean to me about it. So the first eyeshadow palette I have from Jeffree Star is the Blood Sugar palette. I like the shade of this palette the most. This is definitely my least used out of the 3 just because I don't wear reds that much. It's one of my least favorite shades to wear. Orange is probably my least favorite shade, but I don't like wearing red as much either. But when I do wear red, this is definitely the palette that I reach for. The quality is very, very good, and this neutral shade here, Donor, I don't like the names of this palette at all, and I don't really like the theming of most Jeffree Star palettes. But this neutral shade right here is one of the prettiest ones that I have. You You can see it down there. It is one of the prettiest shades that I have, and I really like it. So I just wanted to mention that palette. The next palette that I have is covered in cat hair, and it is the, what's this one called? The Bloodlust palette. It is the like purple edition in their line. It's really not that purpley. It's purpley and pinky, and this is one, I really like it, but I don't use it as much as I would just because it's a really bulky packaging. Honestly, I've seen several people like depot their shadows and like put them in a more compact palette, so I might do that. I'll swatch a couple of these shades for you. I'll swatch Pink Magic and Wet Jewel. Again, these names aren't the best. You can see they're really pretty, sparkly. I don't know, I'm bad at swatching. I guess I really shouldn't be swatching just because we have so much to do. Yeah, this is a nice palette. So the next one I have is the Blue Blood palette. I really like this. The packaging is kind of bulky, and I don't really like that. But the shades inside are really pretty. I really like blues a lot. I wear blues a lot. I'm wearing kind of blue and purple today. I do really like this palette, and I enjoy the looks I make when I use it. But again, Jeffree Star is not my favorite brand. If I liked this brand a little bit more, I might use it a little bit more. Next brand we're going to be talking about, I actually have their only eyeshadow palette from the brand, and this is Tati Beauty. I used to be really into watching the big YouTubers. Now I prefer to watch smaller YouTubers that have like 100,000 subscribers or less. I don't watch them because they have less subscribers. I just find that the real, genuine, honest YouTubers tend to have less subscribers, unfortunately. So this is the Tati Beauty palette. I think this brand is 100% vegan, and that's what they've said, but they have only come out with 2 products, and one of them was like a sponge. And so I have hit pan on 1, 2, 3, 4 of these shades. You can't really see, 3 of them are glitters. I hit pan and glitters really easily. I do really like this glitter formula, even though pressed glitters aren't my favorite. I was wearing them on this palette on Thanksgiving, actually. I really like this palette. I think the entire sequin row could have been taken out. I don't really find a need for sequins. Like, they're fine to use, but they just look like mats on the eyes, so I don't really think they're necessary. But yeah, I like the concept of this palette, and I really like the formula, and I definitely recommend it if you don't mind. I don't know. I don't know whether I should support Tati or not, but as of right now, it doesn't look like she's going to be coming out with any more products for a while, so I find, you know, I have this palette already, and I'm going to use it, and I would definitely be interested in looking if she did come out with any more products, but it would just depend if I was interested and if I would purchase it, you know. And most of you can probably understand this already, that I have less than 1,000 subscribers, and my channel isn't even dedicated to makeup, so all of this is bought by someone, you know, it's not PR. It's either bought by me or gifted by a friend or family member. While we're on the train of beauty YouTube makeup brands, there's another brand that I really like in terms of eyeshadow formula that is also cruelty-free and all vegan. This is my first palette from them. This is the Lauralee Los Angeles Cat's Pajamas palette. The packaging is stunning. I love glitter. I'm kind of obsessed with glitter, and on the inside it's this really pretty rose. This is the inside of it. It's not my favorite. You can see when I first got it, I really used it a lot. It was one of my first like eyeshadow palettes. I definitely use it still, and I like it, and I recommend the formula. This palette I don't use often. I'm not sure if I've ever used this. This is like my only eyeshadow palette I never touched. This is the Lauralee Los Angeles Party Animal palette, and that's because they're neons. And I keep them because I really want to do some like bright neon looks for my TikToks, but especially like the orange and the yellow. I don't like orange, and I don't like neon yellow. Yeah, and this like pink shade, it's not a true metallic. It's like kind of just a little sparkly, and I don't really like that. And then this purple is like purpley blue. It's just like, again, a satin formula, and that's not my favorite either, but I do keep it because I want to do some neon look. And I really do try and use the makeup that I have, but some it's just really hard to use, and I honestly don't know why I asked for this for Christmas a couple years ago, just because it's not something that I would use. And I use colors a lot more than I did at that point in my makeup career. Not career, just like makeup journey. So the palette that I use most from her brand is definitely Nudie Patootie. She just came out with a Nudie Patootie 2 that I want so much, but I know I do not need it because I wear color most of the time, and I have so many neutral palettes already. But this is the Nudie Patootie palette. Let me show you the inside. It is so pretty. I use this so much. My 2 favorite shades are these 2 right here. They're just such a pretty foiled texture. That's Au Natural and Jaybird. And this is honestly just a really cute palette. It's a cute theme, cutesy theme. It's like nude, but it's like cutesy, and so I feel a little bit less weird having it than like the Jeffree Star cosmetics, which are really risque and just not really my thing. You can see I've used this palette quite a lot. The shades Exposed and Uncover, those 2 mixed together on the lid gives me like the perfect wedding vibes look with some of the other shades in the crease. So I definitely really like this palette and definitely recommend it. And if you want a smaller version of this palette with a little bit more pinks, I recommend the Nudie Patootie, or like the Nudie 2, which I'm sure is the same formula, but it's just a little more compact. It's the size of the Cat's Pajamas palette here. And there's one more palette. This is their Sleigh Bell palette. It's from several years ago, and I don't know if it's still available, but it's this really, really pretty compact small palette made for Christmas time. This is my only really deep Christmas tree green sparkly one that I have, and I'm definitely gonna pull this out again. I haven't used it since like last Christmas just because it's a very Christmassy shade, and it looks like I haven't used like these two colors at all, but I know I have. These shades just don't necessarily show a lot of use. My favorite shade in this palette has got to be Jolly though. If you can see, I love this shade so much. It's a really unique shade in my collection. It's like a really pretty dark gray silvery color with a little bit of sparkle in it actually. Let's go to the next like YouTuber brand. Apparently I buy from YouTubers a lot. It's just because I find they review a lot of makeup, so they know a lot about makeup formulas and they end up just making good formulas. So this one is one I definitely do buy from still. This is Lunar Beauty. I only have 2 of their palettes, but I absolutely love both of them. Their eyeshadow formula is one of my favorites, and they actually just came out with another palette called the Eternal Eclipse palette I think that I really, really want. And this is the Strawberry Dream palette. The packaging is stunning. It's some of my favorite packaging. Super sparkly. The moon is kind of raised a little bit. I don't know if you can see that. And here's what the inside looks like. It is super bright and fun. The shade Blue Diamond on the interior, Peter just ran into the camera, and Ruby Skies. This one here is such a pretty formula. It's so slippery and metallic and amazing, and I just really love this palette, and I do reach into pinks and berries a lot, so I use this palette. And the pops of blue are like the perfect pop of color for me. The next one is my favorite palette from the brand. So this is the Moonspell palette. This is just so pretty. I keep scooting over. I don't know why I'm scooting over. So anyway, let's open up this one here. It's so pretty on the inside and on the outside. I love this palette. It's just full of greens and pinks and some of these shimmer shades. They're really, really pretty formula, and actually all of the shimmer shades in this palette, all of the like true shimmer shades, are that really, really pretty sparkly looking formula. I actually used this in a makeup tutorial I did a long time ago, so this is absolutely stunning palette. I totally recommend it, and that brand is entirely vegan as well. This is the Pure X Raw Beauty Christie palette. It's a double-sided palette, and it's one of my favorite palettes in my collection. It has a neutral side for the neutral lovers, and this is one of the most unique neutral color stories I've ever seen because it has a peach, it has a mustard, it has a mauvey color, and so you can really customize your neutral look to look different and pretty and awesome, and the gold is like perfection. Yeah, so I really like the neutral side of this palette, and the colorful side of this palette is like really unique too. It's not just a rainbow, it's like a fancy rainbow. Smee is playing with the toy, so it's loud, sorry. And this shimmer shade is like the perfect, it literally goes with any color. It's like, it's pearly, it's perfect, it's amazing. And so I really like this palette. I used it on a live stream the other day on TikTok, and it was nice, it was fun. I really like this palette. Pure is not entirely vegan, but this palette is. The next brand we're going to talk about is one that I didn't buy from for a little bit because of the brand owner, but now she is no longer associated with the brand, so I feel comfortable buying and promoting this brand now. But this is the KVD Vegan Beauty Vegan, it's just called the Vegan palette, I guess. It's a palette of all shimmers. I have to admit I don't use this as much as I would like to, but I do like it, and I do keep it in my collection because it's a very pretty palette. I especially like this blue. I really like this blue. It's a very bright blue. And same for the shimmery green, so I guess I keep it mostly for those two colors because they're really, really pretty. And I just pinched myself when I went to close the palette. That was not fun. That hurt. So the next brand is a brand that I discovered recently when I went on a cake to purchase from some black-owned brand. I looked at Oma Beauty and I looked at Ace Beauté, which is the one I'm showing here. Unfortunately, I ordered from Oma Beauty without looking at whether it was vegan or not, and then it turned out to not be vegan, so I had to unfortunately return those products because I did not pick products that were vegan. I would like to purchase their foundation at some point because I've heard it's really good, but right now I have a lot of foundations to work through, so I don't think I'll be purchasing another one until I finish one, and I'm quite far from finishing any. Well, I'm about to finish one, but I really want to repurchase that foundation, so I think when I finish a different foundation, then I will purchase that foundation. But this is from Ace Beauté. I have two of their eyeshadow palettes. The smaller one that I have is Scarlet Dusk. The packaging is really, really pretty, and I got this because it's an orange palette and I had no oranges, and I told myself that I'm gonna get an orange palette because I need to use more oranges, and I haven't really used the oranges. I've used the pinks down here and I've used the berries a lot, but orange just intimidates me so much, and so I've told myself no more buying oranges because I have oranges if I do want to. Look, you just really threw yourself across the room, Smee. This is a really, really pretty palette, and I definitely do like it, and I'm glad I have it because now I have an orange palette for if I ever want it, but I dip into this mostly for the berries and the pinks more than anything. And now this is the Ace Beauté palette, and when I saw a new palette that I really wanted, I was immediately reminded of this, and so I actually probably would have bought that palette even though it was very similar to this because it was another collab with Raw Beauty Christie, but that palette turned out not to be vegan, so then I didn't buy it or ask for it. But this is the Ace Beauté Flare palette. My movie recording was stopped automatically because I've been talking for so freaking long about eyeshadow, but we're almost done. So this eyeshadow palette definitely reminds me of the Raw Beauty Kristi X Colourpop palette that recently came out. So if you're watching this and you wanted that but you are vegan, buy this instead. It's a little more expensive, but it reminds me a lot of that one. And there are a few shades that are not the same, but the main shades that are different is that the shimmer shades are just a little different, and there are a couple more shimmers in this palette. But the shimmer shades in that palette are just golden green, and I'm sure you can find another one somewhere in your collection if you're a makeup lover like I am. So anyway, I really like the Ace Beauté formula, and I'm pretty sure this is an entirely vegan brand. So I just have 4 more palettes, and 2 of them are the Maybe palettes, and 2 of them are definitely vegan. So this is the Sugar Pill Fun Size palette, mini color palette. It is so cute. It's a pastel palette. It's just adorable. I love it so much. And it's got little tiny pans, but tiny pans are okay with me because I hardly ever go through eyeshadow. The palettes I actually have pan on are mostly not vegan because they're the ones I've had a long time. So anyway, this is really pretty and cute, and I recommend it. I don't know if Sugar Pill is an entirely vegan brand or not. I want to say it is, but I'm not sure. But I know this palette is definitely vegan. So this is my newest palette, and the palette that is probably my favorite right now just because I'm so excited about it. I've wanted this since it came out, and I finally got it gifted as an early Christmas present for my mom. And this is the Glamlight like Ice Cream Dream palette. It is so cute. It's got little sprinkles in it that shake, and when you open it up, it's a complete rainbow of color, and it's got so many shimmers, and I absolutely love shimmers, and I've wanted to try the Glamlight formula for so long. And when they came out with this palette, I was like, this is the palette that I want because I love pastels but don't have very many of them. Peter's just going crazy, and I love shimmers, and I've heard their shimmers are really good, and so are their mattes. And I used it for my eye look today. This is the first time that I've used it because I got it last night, and so far I really love it, and I'm so happy with it, and I'm so happy that I have this. And Glamlight is a cruelty-free and vegan brand, which is great because it's really hard to find colorful eyeshadows that are vegan a lot of the time because so many of them have carmine in them. This brand is entirely vegan, so if you're looking for really colorful vegan palettes, check out Glamlight, and their packaging is just the cutest because so many of their palettes are food themed. We're almost to the finish line, guys. I promise. We only have 2 more palettes to go over, and these are my Maybe palettes. These are the palettes that I just cannot tell if they're vegan or not. The first one we're going to talk about is the Jaclyn Hill X Morphe palette. So basically, when this palette first came out, it was vegan, and they advertised it as vegan and all of that. And then sometime within the past few years, they changed the ingredients to add carmine. I have no idea why they did this. I just don't know, because honestly, the palette formula was supposed to be really good. I think I got this in 2018 because I do have the new packaging on it, but there's really just no way to tell when they changed the formula. So I don't know if my version is the vegan version or not. The quality of this isn't very good. It's not the best, so I want to say I probably don't have the vegan version, but I might, so I wanted to throw this in here. But just know you cannot get this palette as vegan anymore. Sorry about that. It is not vegan if you buy it now. And then the very last palette on here is a Natasha Denona Little Mini palette, and this is the Mini Retro from Natasha Denona. I recently got this. Basically on their website, they do not count it as a vegan product, but I looked in the ingredients list. I pasted it on the website Double Check Vegan, and basically all the ingredients should be vegan. However, it has the may contain carmine, and it may contain some other ingredients. However, if you don't know, in foods and in cosmetic products, if it says may contain, the only reason they list that is so they cannot get sued if someone happens to have a little bit of an allergy to it, and it happens to have a little bit of that in it, and they have an allergic reaction. They can't sue the company because they did say may contain. However, I've talked to a lot of people, and most people come to the general consensus that if a product has may contain in it, it doesn't actually have that ingredient in it, or if it does, it's an absolutely minuscule amount and is not associated with this product anyway. So I personally consider this vegan because it just says may contain, but I did want to put it in the maybe category in case some people did not consider it vegan. But I do really like this little palette, and I'm really glad I got it just because I really wanted to try the Natasha Denona formula, and I really like it so far. So yeah, that's gonna be it for today's video. Sorry it was so long, and sorry it was not related to cats, but thank you so much for sticking around and watching it anyway. Sorry there's a cat in the litter box right now. So thank you so much for watching, and like and subscribe for more kitten related and sometimes not kitten related content. I upload on Sundays and whenever else I want to, and if I can't upload on Sundays, then I upload whenever I want to. Sorry about that. I do have a Venmo, PayPal, and Amazon wishlist linked in the description below that you can donate to if you would like to help save my little foster kitties. Thank you so much if you do decide to donate at absolutely no pressure whatsoever. Also, please make sure to leave any thoughts or questions that you have down in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching again, and goodbye!